What is up, you guys? I am MLB Chatterbox, also known as Christian Corey. Welcome back to another video. Today, it is a World Series preview video. Yes, we are previewing the World Series. Game number 1 is tonight at 8 o'clock on the FOX station. So yeah, it's game number 1, and it is the Tampa Bay Rays and the Los Angeles Dodgers. They will be facing off in the Fall Classic, Tampa Bay representing the American League, and the Dodgers representing the National League. So yeah, we're going to preview this series, my predictions for this series. But first, before we do the World Series, I know I did not make a reaction video or a recap video of the National League Championship Series between the Dodgers and the Braves. I really didn't have time to do that, but I kind of want to do a little bit of that in this video real quick. So, I mean, basically, you guys saw that series between the Dodgers and the Braves. The Braves had a commanding lead in that series. I mean, again, they won Game 1, they won Game 2, they lost Game 3 horrendously. But again, they came back in Game 4, and Game 4 was really a bounce back for them because in Game 3, the Dodgers put up 15, and then in Game 4, the Braves put up their own 10. So, again, you know, they came back. They had a 3-game-to-1 lead. All I need to do is win one more, and they clinch, and they go to the World Series for the first time since 95. Or 99, excuse me, 99. So, I mean, they had a chance. But, again, the Dodgers came back. You cannot let the Dodgers come back. You know, Dodgers won Game 5, 7-3. Game 6, 3-1. And Game 7, 4-3. That was a nail-biter. Now, let's first go into where the series started to turn, in my opinion. And that was game number 5. I know, you know, the Braves lost game number 3, but I think game number 5 was when, you know, it started to go bad for the Bravos. So, I mean, again, starting pitching is a story. The starting pitching has been absolutely horrendous on both sides. I've been telling you this since day 1 of the playoffs. It's been terrible. In this game, Dustin May, 2 innings pitched for the Dodgers, 3 hits, an earned run, 3 strikeouts. On the other side, A.J. Minter, he looked pretty good in the beginning, but again, only 3 innings pitched, 1 hit, no earned runs, and the Braves went to the bullpen. He did have 7 strikeouts, so he was really good in those first 3 innings. So, I mean, you know, I don't get it with the pitching. I don't get what happened to the pitching. And then they bullpen it, both teams, in this game, and the Braves lost 7-3, so the Braves bullpen was not as good as the Dodgers bullpen. That's how they lost that game. And then if you move over to game number 6, again, the Dodgers won 3-1. Well, what's the story in that game? Well, again, pitching a little bit better, but again, only 6 innings by both pitchers. Minimum. Fried, 6 2/3. Buehler, 6 innings. Again, Fried for Atlanta, 8 hits, 3 earned runs, 5 strikeouts. Buehler for LA, 7 hits, no earned runs, 6 strikeouts. So, I mean, you know, Buehler was better, even though Fried pitched more innings, pitched 2 more batters than Buehler. Buehler did not give up any runs, which is very good. So that's a good thing for the Dodgers. But again, the Braves pitching, it blew it for them. Both starting pitching. Because their bullpen, I don't know, their bullpen's not as good. The bullpen's not good for Atlanta. I know Melanson and everything, that's an exception, even though he's been kind of iffy at times in the bullpen for the Braves. And then if you move over to game number 7 of the series, again, it was pitching. It was pitching. Ian Anderson, 3 innings pitched, 5 hits, 2 earned runs, only 2 strikeouts. May, an inning pitched, 1 earned run. I mean, this is pathetic. I mean, on both sides. I get, you know, the Dodgers offense went off in a couple of these games. You know, of course, they went off in game number 3, scoring 15. They went off in game 5. They were good in game 6. And in game 7, they scored 3 and 4 runs in those 2 games. So, to me, it's like, it's a story of starting pitching. And the Braves lost this series because of their pitching. Hands down, they lost it because of their pitching. And, I mean, their offense, although it was good at times, it was not consistent throughout the playoffs. Again, like I say, 2 blowout games back-to-back. Both teams shared the scoring affairs, you could say. Game 3, Dodgers scored 15. Like I said, in Game 4, Braves scored 10. So really, it was a bad, when you have a 3 games lead, no matter if it's 3 games to 1, 3 games to 2, 3 games to none, whatever it is in a best of 7 series, you cannot blow that lead. You cannot blow a 3 games to whatever lead in a best of 7 series, and it happened both times in the National League Championship Series between the Braves and the Dodgers, and the American League Championship Series between the Astros and the Rays. Again, I'm not going to go over the Rays because we already did that, but with this series, just quick little ending off of this series, quick little conclusion of my thoughts on this series is basically the pitching for both teams, like I've said, was terrible, and the Braves only had to win 1 more game. All I had to do was win 1 more game. They went back to the World Series since 1999. So if they would have won 1 more game, they would have punched their ticket. They would have been in. And it's very sad that their starting pitching, let them down. They did. I mean, the offense can only do so much. The offense is a 50-50 thing, when it comes to baseball. You get lucky one day and you get unlucky the next day. I mean, think about it. Game 3, like I said, the Braves only scored 3 runs in that 15-run loss to the Dodgers. And then the next day, the roles were reversed. The Braves scored 10 runs and the Dodgers only scored 2 runs and the Dodgers lost. So it's a coin flip with the offense, and the pitching, particularly starting pitching, has to be on point. That's why in baseball, starting pitching is so emphasized and was so emphasized for so many years, because offense is a flip of the coin. I mean, the Tigers back in 2015 or something had like one of the best lineups ever, and they sucked. I think 2015 they didn't even make the playoffs in 2015. So I mean, it's ridiculous. They had one of the best lineups ever in Tigers history, and they didn't do anything because their pitching was terrible. Price was gone, Max Scherzer was gone, Verlander was terrible around that time. So Sanchez was So, I mean, point being is that you cannot rely on your offense to carry you through a series. You got to have good starting pitching, particularly starting pitching. But I don't want to go in depth in that one. So that's my thoughts on the National League Championship Series. When it comes to the World Series preview between the Rays and the Dodgers, I think it's the same story. But before we go into that, I want to give you guys what I know thus far when it comes to who's going to start for which team, and how I think this series is going to play out. Okay, for game number 1, it's tonight at 8 o'clock, 8:11 p.m. in Arlington, Texas. Again, home of the Texas Rangers, Globe Life Field. So it is going to be Tyler Glasnow for the Rays and Clayton Kershaw for the Dodgers. My thoughts on this matchup. Tyler Glasnow starting game 1. Smart move by Kevin Cash. I am very happy that he chose Glasnow to pitch game number 1. I'm glad it wasn't Snell. I mean, maybe it just, happened to turn out that way because of the way their rotation was set up. Perhaps that's the reason why. I'd have to look into that. But regardless, I like that Tyler Glasnow is starting game number 1. On the Dodgers side, Clayton Kershaw is starting game number 1 for them. I mean, it's not a bad move. I mean, I know Kershaw's postseason struggles are horrendous. So to me, it's like, okay, they're doing this because A, it's Kershaw, it's their franchise basically leader. It's one of the best franchise players ever. So, I mean, they got to have respect for him just because of that. Again, Kershaw was not good in, game number 4. Gave up the 10 runs to the Braves. So, I mean, when it comes to Kershaw, I mean, you're going to have to do it. I mean, they could have started Buehler for game number 1, but again, he pitched game number 6 and got the win in the NLCS, so maybe not enough rest for him. They could have started May, but I think starting an experienced pitcher with Kershaw is a good move for the Dodgers, even if Kershaw absolutely blows in game number 1 and just gets lit up like a Christmas tree. you got at least 3 more games to work with. So I think that's a good move by the Dodgers and Roberts. So I think it's a good move for the Dodgers having Kershaw starting game number 1. Game number 2, personally, I would go with May. But again, Roberts has to get over this thing when it comes to letting their starters work, both sides of it. Both managers, Roberts and Cash, have to get over this bullpenning thing. I know the Rays are more notorious for bullpenning, but I think the Dodgers are falling into that spell as well, especially in the postseason, because Roberts does not manage the way he does in the postseason as he does in the regular season. He manages very differently. He's more quick to pull the trigger. He's more quick to put up that old left arm or right arm or whatever, give that signal out to the bullpen. But I mean, game number one is your safest bet. I mean, if Kershaw gives up 3 runs and you're down by 2, and he gave up, and it's only like, let's say the 5th inning, I wouldn't pull him. I'd keep him in there until at least the 7th. I mean, unless he gets lit up like a Christmas tree. And even if he does get lit up like a Christmas tree, okay, you lost game 1. I know game number 1 is very important, but I would, if I was Dave Roberts, I would have confidence in my team to come back in game 2. And I would assume that would be May on the mound. I would like, again, to see May go game number 2. I think you got to have May go more than 5 innings, 4 innings, 2 innings, whatever it was he pitched. You got to have him go longer than 1 inning, even if he doesn't do good in the first inning. I mean, in the first inning of that game, he gave up 1 run in the first inning to the Braves, and maybe it was a home run, I don't remember. But, I mean, you got to let him go more than just 1 inning. That is disgraceful. You got to let your starters go longer. That is the point of this whole video, is starters, whoever pitches better will win the series. And in both series, the Dodgers pitched better in the National League Championship Series, and the Rays pitched better in the American League Championship Series. Even though their bullpen helped them out tremendously, they still pitched better. I think starting pitching is the key for both sides. I think you got to give your starters length. I think you cannot, have this short leash on them. I mean, you don't even have a leash on them. You grab them by the collar, and if they screw up, you're going to yank them out of there as soon as, a guy gets into scoring position. It's ridiculous. You got to have your starters go longer in this series. I'd like to see at least one of these starters for one of these teams go 7 innings in a World Series game. That'd be amazing. But it probably won't happen because, they don't think like that anymore. But I guess the point of this whole thing is that, again, my predictions for the World Series. I'm sticking with the Dodgers. When it comes to who's going to win which game, who's going to lose which game, I got the Dodgers winning. You know what? I got the Rays winning game number 1. I got the Rays winning game number 1. I don't have confidence in Kershaw, even though I still predict the Dodgers to win this series. I don't think he will win game number 1. I don't think the Dodgers will win game number 1. I got the Dodgers winning game number 2. I don't think Snell is going to be that good in game number 2. I think he'll do really, really good, but I think near the end he'll give up some runs and he'll just kind of blow it for the Rays. I think the Rays will have a late lead, but then again Snell will blow it in, let's say, the 6th or the 7th inning. That's my prediction. I think May is gonna go the distance. I mean, not 9 innings because that won't happen, but the distance meaning like 7 2/3. So I think May's gonna do great if he does in fact start game number 2. I think that he should start game number 2, and Buehler game number 3. And again, you don't know who's gonna pitch game number 3 for the Rays on that side of it. So I mean, game number 3, I got Buehler, and I got the Dodgers winning that game. Whoever. I assume it's going to be Morton for the Rays, or they could bullpen it, whatever they do. But I got Buehler winning game number 3 and the Dodgers winning game number 3 against the Rays. And when it comes to game number 4, 5, and 6, again, I guess I could say the Dodgers win game number 4 and game number 5 because I would have the Rays winning game number 1, so to go to game 5 of this World Series. So that's kind of my little prediction of it. that's really all I got to say about this. Again, when it comes to the offensive side, I think the Dodgers are better offensively, obviously. I think if Bellinger picks it up, I think Betts, like I said in a couple of videos ago, that Betts will have a great series. Offensively, I think he's saving it for the World Series. I think he'll do great in the World Series. I think he's getting familiar with that ballpark in Texas. I think Bellinger will have a nice series too. I think Bellinger, will do good defensively. I think he'll pick it up on the offensive side. I think Muncy will somehow maybe hit a home run in this series, maybe two if he's lucky, for the Dodgers. And I think Seager will not do as good because I usually MVPs of a championship series don't do as well as the World Series, so I'm going to have to go with that kind of trend. They just don't do as well. It's just, you look it up, just look at any other player who's won the MVP in any other championship series. They do not do as well in the World Series. On the other side for the Rays, when it comes to offense, I think, Kiermaier with the hand, I think he will figure something out. I don't think he'll go off. He might get lucky with a home run. I think he'll kind of be a singles, doubles guy in this series for the Rays. I think Ji-Man Choi will go cold because of the size of the ballpark that he's playing in. I'm just trying to think of who else. Arozarena. I think Arozarena won't do good. I think he will do okay in maybe the first game, maybe the second game, but after the second game, I don't think he's going to do that good. I think he's going to get too big for his bridges. I think that's an old saying. And he just won't be as good in the World Series. I think Yandy Diaz will do good in this series. I think Yandy Diaz will do good in the games that he does play. Because I think Choi is going to be mostly righties, and Yandy Diaz is going to be lefties. But I think this is a great matchup for the Dodgers. I think if they got the Astros, they would lose probably in like 5 or 6 games. Just to be honest, I mean, this cannot be better for the Dodgers. This series could not play out better for the Dodgers. Again, they might have home supporters because they're in Texas. People coming from California, possibly Mexico. They have a big fan base in Mexico. I think people will show up, and I think it will be a Dodgers home series throughout all the games here. I don't think a lot of Tampa Bay Rays fans will show up in this series. Fly out to Texas. I mean, I don't know, why would you? I mean, maybe you want to see the ballpark or something. But I don't know. I just think the Dodger fans will flock. I think the Dodger fans are pumped for this. I think the Dodgers think it's their year. I think, since the Lakers won, and now they think the Dodgers are going to win. But yeah, that's about it, guys. Leave a thumbs up on the video if you liked the video. Comment down below your thoughts of this 2020 World Series. Who do you got here in the Fall Classic this time around between the Rays and the Dodgers? Comment and subscribe. Subscribe, do that, ring the bell. Ring the bell is cool. Let's get the subscribers up. Let's go up. And as always, guys, I'll catch you guys later.